Hello, welcome back. Week 4, my third and fourth year art students. Man, do I miss you guys? I miss watching you guys do stuff in the class. I really do. This is not the way it's supposed to be, but again, here we are. Week 4. This should be a yellow folder when you watch this tomorrow morning. It's just considered unpublished right now. Week 4, abstracting a still life. So we're going to have extensive drawing, culminating in one final piece, hopefully with some color in it of your choice. So let's take a look at what's in here. You're watching a little intro video right here. There is another case 4 video here through Edpuzzle. This one's for Jackson Pollock. You know Jackson Pollock. You've seen Jackson Pollock. Here's some more information about him. He does relate to what we're doing here. Next, we have an abstraction steps PDF. That's this document here. I will explain more about it, but that is there for your reference. And then lastly, we have the abstracting still life assignment. This is a doc that you're actually going to add things to. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, let's talk about abstractions. And first, we're going to talk about an abstract continuum. A continuum is kind of like a number line. Yes, that is to use in continuum. And I'm just going to go over some terminology. Again, this is stuff you've probably heard before. I know you've heard me talk about it in class. All the way back to first year art, but just want to make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to some terminology. And this is the continuum. It goes from realism or realistic to abstract to non-objective. Sometimes non-objective, you might hear non-representational. We know realistic and realism, right? We know it as being natural, lifelike. It looks like what it's supposed to look like, right? So it's real, it's realistic, and it looks like real life. Now, next on the continuum, we have abstract. Now, abstract is often used incorrectly. Now, abstract means to change to create interest, and that could be distorted, it could be exaggerated, it's simplified. But here's the thing, we can still make out what things are. Okay, we can still tell what things are, they just look a little weird. Right, so here's some examples from some abstractions, kind of slight abstraction to really extreme abstraction. But the key again is that we can still make out what things are. They've just been distorted, they've just been exaggerated, or they've just been simplified. Okay. Now, lastly, we have non-objective, and sometimes you might hear this as non-representational. Now, this means it has no easily recognizable subject, right? So it's art that does not represent anything. It's more, excuse me, symbolic or decorative. And you might see things like op art, and you might see some paintings that are just basically areas of color, right? There's nothing here that we can recognize. There's no objects. There's nothing that represents anything, okay? So that's non-objective. So let's look at our project. All right, so step 1, you're gonna put together a still life at home. A still life is just a group of objects, and I want you to have at least 5 objects in that still life. And the first step is to spend 45 minutes drawing that still life of 5 items, okay? So draw for 45 minutes as best you can, make it as realistic as you can, okay? That's step number 1. Step number 2, we're gonna slightly abstract the images that you drew. So you're gonna start adding slight distortion, right? We're still gonna be able to recognize objects, but they're now going to be maybe a little flattened. They might be a little simplified. They might be a little distorted. They might be a little enlarged, okay? Think about lines being stronger. Think about values having more contrast. Again, this is also 45 minutes of drawing, okay? So that's step 2. You can probably tell where this is going. Step 3, a little more abstract, right? A little more abstract, more enlarging, more distorting. Objects are beginning to be less recognizable, right? We're going to start losing negative space. So think about how you can continue lines to break up negative space. We're losing the idea of things actually overlapping, right? There isn't any more depth going on anymore, okay? So that's where you're going to go this week, is to step 3. Okay, we're going to go to step 3 only this week. Let me skip ahead. Let me try to show you another example. Okay, again, step 1, recreate the still life. 45 minutes of drawing. We want at least 5 objects. Okay, this is kind of an unfinished drawing, but you can tell it's realistic. We can see what things are. Step 2, slightly abstract. Things are starting to be simplified. Things are being distorted. They're flattening. They're enlarging. Lines are becoming stronger. Contrast is becoming stronger. And then step 3, even more abstract. Right? Again, losing the idea that things are overlapping, right? We're losing that depth, that space, lines, values start to break up the negative space. Okay, so again, going to step 3. So in the document that you are going to turn in, the abstract and aesthetic document, you're going to put 4 pictures on that doc. Okay, the first picture is going to be the still life, right? So whatever you set up at home, and then the second photo is step 1, the third photo is step 2, the fourth photo is step 3, and again, 45 minutes per picture or per drawing. Okay, all right. Good luck. Email me with questions. Loved the selfies, the 9 selfies, man. They're so good. Really, really impressed with what you guys did. Can't wait to see what we do next.